Okay, hello my fellow broke aristocrats. So today I wanted to talk to people a little bit about budgeting, just so that people know how I do my budget. As we can see here, these are my income streams and some of the debt that goes towards maintaining my business. Chuck is my personal assistant, so I blacked out things because I try to keep my privacy, but I do want to let people know how I organize. How much my private practice brings in, how much sales of products bring in, medicinary, etc. Now, here's something I do want to talk to people about, and that is to start your bill. If you are trying to learn how to budget, start with just your four walls, what you need in order to survive from the highest priority to the least priority. And of course, the first priority is going to be your rent. After that is going to come groceries. Can you feed yourself? Now, I don't have utilities because my utilities are included in my rent, but you would want to include your utilities in your four walls, in your priorities. After that, of course, you would want to include transportation. Now, I don't own a car, and that's not because I'm poor, it's because I am kind of afraid of driving. I have a little bit of a fear of driving in Los Angeles. It's kind of a crazy city. It's not a small town, so for that reason I do the Uber Pool, and I do the Uber Extra Pool. Anyway, it's a discount way of taking pool where you share the ride, and the other thing I do is I take the bus. So that is included in my four walls. Much of my business is my phone, and so that's another priority. These are the things that are stagnant. They're not going to change. My pet is irreplaceable, my cat, and so this is her expenses, how much I've budgeted for her food and pet care. Now, emergency fund, people are kind of on me a bit about this. Even when I was paying off my credit card debt, I still made sure to put a little tiny bit every month towards my emergency fund. And that was because I didn't stop at $1,000. I got $1,000, I put it in my emergency fund, and then I started paying off my credit cards. And then every month I still continued to put a little bit aside because I knew that living in Los Angeles was going to be extremely expensive, and in the event of emergency, I knew that $1,000 wasn't going to cut it. So I followed the basic, what you would call the Dave Ramsey program, with the exception that I was still putting a itsy bitsy teeny bit, and that's because I live in Los Angeles, and it's just not doable to, in the event of an emergency, if you have to move, to survive with $1,000. Here is office expenses. That usually runs about 20 bucks. Gifting, charity, I lump that all together. This is stuff which is important, but I can live without. The stuff up here. Here's my medical cost for my health care. Pretty important. Earthlink is probably something I need to get rid of. I had an Earthlink account, but I'm thinking of getting rid of it. Now we go to the luxuries. If you are trying to get out of debt, you can start by eliminating the luxuries first. And that is my Amazon Prime. Pandora is music we play in the office, so I actually do kind of have to have it. Netflix I can get rid of. Gym I can get rid of. Home decor I can get rid of. Putting money aside for a vacation I can get rid of. The gym, I've got that twice. Gonna have to fix that. GenBook is my scheduling, that I do need, so I'm gonna have to put that up on top as a necessity. CNDA is my membership to the medical board, to the medical association. But then you can see here personal funds, my Roth IRA, etc. That in the event of an emergency, all of those things would be eliminated. I would just pause them or get rid of them. To the left here, I want to show you this, and this is something you can do as well. This is my my starvation budget or zombie apocalypse budget, and this is me cutting things down to the point where I save a lot of money. But the point of a starvation budget next to my regular budget is to see how low I can go on my budget and still survive. And I do this in the event of an emergency. The thing I want to leave here with is helping people understand that when you're cutting things, start with your luxury items first. That's where paying off your debt is going to go. Then you move on to the things which are not luxuries. You kind of need them, but you could probably survive without them. And then finally, you have to look at your four walls. So when you're cutting things out, start from what you need the least of to what your four walls is the last thing you would cut. So if you can cut your gym membership, go for it. If you can cut your Amazon Prime, if you can cut your cable, those are the things that you go at first to cut. And then you just work your way up. I don't like seeing people cutting groceries. I don't like seeing people putting themselves in any harm's way. I have heard of people living in their cars to pay off their student loans. Any cuts you make should not be a threat to your safety. Eating junk food and garbage might make things cheaper, might cut your grocery bill, but if you wind up getting physically ill and spending thousands of dollars recovering your health, then I would argue you have not saved money. You have made yourself sick and you've cost yourself a lot of money. So groceries are the area of the four walls that I tell people not to cut. So that's pretty much how I slash my debt. And as you can see, when you look at the starvation budget, that is really where I begin slashing. Is I first look at those luxury items, those things I really don't need, like my Amazon Kindle or my Amazon Prime. Well, Amazon Prime I actually do need because I have a lot of deliveries to the office. But you're really going to look at those things. Gym membership. Start by cutting those things. If you're desperate to find cash, just start cutting them. Find creative ways to substitute the things that you're spending money on. If you're going to the movies, find a way to replace that. Maybe get a library card, or just see how low you can get, particularly if you've got extreme debt. And the things that are kind of wiggle room, they're not luxuries, but you kind of need them. You're going to have to determine what that is for you. For me, it was putting a certain amount of money into my emergency fund. I could theoretically stop the emergency fund, or at the very least, reduce it. And then finally you get to your four walls, and then you have to ask yourself, do I need to move? Am I paying too much on rent? Again, you don't want to put yourself in harm's way by putting yourself, in a situation that's potentially dangerous. You don't want to be living in an area that's not safe. If you have to get a cheaper car, definitely that's part of the four walls. But again, you don't want to get a car that breaks down a week later and then you're spending money on repairs. So that pretty much wraps up me doing my budgeting. I look at my budget a couple times a month, and so this is kind of early. Actually, I guess I do it once a week now that I think about it. So so it was fun sharing my budgeting tips with you, and I hope I gave you some insights. Remember, when it comes to the four walls, things like health, those are the last things we really want to slash. Groceries are the last. Don't forget I said it. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. This is Broke Aristocrats. Be sure and share, like, subscribe, and tell me what you're doing to take care of yourself without breaking the bank. Thanks for watching. Bye.